Hey, all. So, here's a little funny story that I discovered. I was on itch.io and I woke up this afternoon, I guess, because I slept too late. And I saw this on itch.io, and it's Conway. It is apparently a new visual novel that takes place in the 18th century, the late 18th century. And if you know anything about me, which you probably don't, considering I haven't really talked about it on this channel yet, I'm a major history buff. In fact, one of my personas is literally born in 1774. So I'm kind of into this time. I know a lot about this era of history, so I'm interested to see how well it's going to be told and how well there's going to be accuracy to what actually happened. Considering that my persona started out as a fairly realistic story and eventually devolved into not so realistic. I'm interested to see how this goes because it doesn't seem to be fantasy. It seems to be this dude joins this shipping, this like trading thing on a ship. He's a sailor, goes around to place, which is really interesting because I haven't really seen that sort of thing. It seems like it's just going to be slice of life. So that's interesting. I guess I'll just start. I have to wonder if this is going to be first or third or second person. And if you're wondering why my voice sounds the way it does, it's because my fucking throat is like in itself. I don't know what's going on, but I have a fucking sore throat. Towering masts of ships loomed over the rows of houses, reaching towards the skies if yearning to touch the clouds above. This sounds like an eighth grader trying to write poetically for the first time in their life and failing. The sight of these massive vessels was always a drawing a crowd, with both children and adults rushing to get a closer look when everyone came to port. The sailors who man these ships bring with them tales of adventure and discovery of far off lands and different cultures. Yeah, this would, late 18th century, this would be about the time when people were discovering different, like, I mean, this is when fucking America was first found. Like, well, not really first found, but when it was became independent. If you really want to go back to like when all that was going on, you have to go back like a few centuries to like the 1400s and 1500s, 1600s, really, because there's a lot of exploration there because they're looking for just look into the history. It's really interesting. These stories fuel the imaginations of those who are living in the small seaside town, and many dream of one day setting off on their own journey of exploration. Oh, is this third person omniscient then? That would be interesting. That's I haven't seen that except in Arches. For some, the arrival of a ship opens the opportunity for wealth and fame, a chance to chase their dreams and escape the drudgery of everyday life. Yeah, that's a trick. These vessels represent a way out, a chance to see and experience things they could ever dream of. Again, a trap. Some of these ships reached heights surpassing even the church tower in town. How small is that church then? Because there wasn't a connection to the water world, a reminder that there was so much beyond this town that many of its inhabitants rarely had the chance to leave. Cool, we get it. They're isolated. They like imagining that they can leave. We get ships are big. There was an exploration. Move on. As the ships came and went, it was always like they are, like they were. Were. You need were there. Always feels like they were. I want to kill those dogs so bad. I want to slip. I'm not gonna say that. I mean, I'm just really fucking sick and tired of them, to be honest. I'm just. I hate them. I hate them so much. Feels like they were. You need were there. This sentence started as the ships came and went. That's like past tense. Are is present tense. Imbibed to wake up excitement and possibility. Or at least they do inside you. Okay, so it's second person then. Neat. Haven't had that, but I mean, yeah, we have. Second person is a thing that's happened before. God, stupid birds. I can't even tell if you can hear that. For you, growing up on the small homestead of your parents outside of town, prospect of leaving and setting off on your own adventure was always alluring. Yeah, it's a trap. Thought of spending the rest of your life on the farm, following the same daily routine, working to keep it running, fills you with a strange unease. Wow. Cliche number 4627. You couldn't see yourself doing it for 10, 20, 30 years. It wasn't the life you were dreaming of. Yeah, well, tough shit. Sometimes that's what you get, not the life you can live. Your parents appear to understand. You believe that your father, at least. Oh my god. Sorry, stupid dogs. You believe that your father, at least, had a sense of the wanderlust that drove you. He knows what it's like to be a young man trying to find their place in the world. Good grief, this is really cliche, but who knows, maybe it'll branch off. I like the writing at least is competent. Doesn't have typos and misspellings every other sentence. There's no syntax errors I've seen so far. I don't know why I'm being so critical of a point one build. Probably because I've seen visual novels like this start out really well and then end up terrible. So I'm really just trying to improve the creator's work and try to give them advice, but apparently some people don't like that or something. I can't understand why. Part of him, perhaps a side of him, wants to allow you the freedom he didn't have. Still, as you were preparing to leave, doubts began to creep into your mind. What if leaving was a mistake? What if something happens to your parents while you're gone? Or to you? You only want to imagine them hearing such news. And don't leave. If you return with nothing but the realization that your place was on the farm, simply following in the footsteps of your old man. I mean, yeah, this is some decent characterization, I guess. We're getting to know about the main character, but, As you walk along the row of houses, the familiar smell of the fisheries fills your nostrils, a reminder of the bustling activity that always appears to fill this corner of the town. Yeah, this is way. I will admit that this writing is really polished for a point one build, whereas a lot of VNs that I've seen that I haven't even like I've tried to record videos for, but I've just been like, no, this is not getting uploaded. This is terrible. Like they're just so poorly formatted, and there's so many grammar mistakes and spelling errors, and I'm just like, dude, if you're trying to make a fucking visual novel, try and put some quality into it. Have pride in your work, for fuck's sake. Shop after shop, stall after stall, displaying the fresh catch of the day, the fish glistening under the bright sun. Some merchants were busy preparing new catches, their hands moving expertly as they cleaned and filleted the fish. Others chatted with customers, recommending different types of fish and offering samples for them to try. At the end of the street, the houses thin out and the view opens up to the sea, the deep blue waters stretching out before you to the horizon. There is a constant stream of activity on the docks, with hundreds of people rushing around, busy with whatever task they have at hand. From a distance, it would look like an anthill, the workers moving in a seemingly chaotic manner. You could literally describe any human civilization like an anthill. I mean, Jesus. I wish there were more details on where this is. Wait, that flag. That flag looks French. This might be France. That'd be fucking cool. That'd be really fucking cool. Considering that, my persona that I was talking about, he's a French boyo. He's a French Russian boyo. And I love him. It's bits. His name is Louis. Yep. Very stereotypical, I know. I don't care. But yeah, I don't know if like that flag looks like it's a French flag to me. That'd be cool. Carefully make your way through the crowded space, dodging people and carts as you try to orient yourself and find the ship you are looking for. It was easy to get lost in the hustle and bustle of the docks. You almost got run over twice, or once or twice. But finally you caught sight of the ship you had been searching for, a fully rigged beauty with 3 masts laying her deck. wasn't the largest ship this town has seen, but it was still an impressive sight, and you couldn't wait to find out what life on board would be like for you. Terrible, absolute misery. That's how life's gonna be for this dude. Absolute fucking drudgery for months on end. Maybe there's some excitement, but most of the excitement comes from like bad things happening, like the ship catching on fire, or you hitting a rock and the ship fucking breaking open. You have to fucking seal a hole. Like these fucking vessels were so boring. Like yeah, they entertained themselves the best they could, and they all did that. But Jesus, the most exciting parts would be like, oh no, the ship might sink, or there's people trying to get on board and kill us or something. Like yeah, it was a bad time. Wasn't the largest ship that I read that. A look at the back of the ship reveals her name written in delicately carved and painted letters. Conway. Okay, okay. So that's why it's called that. Neat. Charles Conway. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that was his name. The name that graces her back, and a name you hope will be able to say with pride going forward. You repeat it silently to yourself, letting the word letters roll around in your mind one more time. There's a nice ring to it. What are you doing standing there? Fully startled you out of your daydreams, and in a flash you spin around to face the direction it was coming from, with your eyes wide open like a startled deer. Oh. Okay, this is definitely France. That is definitely this is I am positive this is France now. Also, I know the art is like placeholder, but this art style, I like it a lot. Like it's really cool. The unfinished look to it, it's interesting. Standing before you, you see a massive horse clad in a tight-fitting blue uniform and his hair tied into a knot behind his head. He was at least 3 or 4 heads taller than you, and you had to crane your neck back to look up at him. Towering figure with broad shoulders and brown eyes which were locked firmly up back at you. What voice? Did you not hear me? The crew's on a tight schedule, and the last thing we need is some wimp being crushed by a crate. Paperwork for it will be a right headache. So get your ass out of the way. Bit helplessly, you are stuck to the ground before you notice the wooden crate hovering in the air, suspended on several ropes leading to the crane and on the dock itself. Some men are waiting on the ship for it to arrive, while others guided it from the ground, with you right in the way. They make her out of the danger zone as they ring the crate as it is carefully lowered onto the ship. Slow, a bit more. Down, keep it slow. Okay, yeah, cool. She isn't your wife, you. Wow, okay then. That's great. Already making a fool of yourself to the people you'll be working with. Approach the overseers to be in charge of the crew and the dock, overseeing the ship's loading. Sorry for just now, sir. I'm one of the newly signed up landsmen for the Conway. Could you tell me where I should report to? Man did not appear to have heard you. His attention instead is focused on the storage house where barrels and boxes are being loaded onto the ship. You clear your throat again and try. You clear your throat and try again. Raise your voice this time. Oh yeah, this is the story of my life. I talk so fucking quiet that I don't get it, man. Sir, I'm on. Yes, I heard you. You're shouting before shouting at someone in the warehouse, the deep drone of his voice enough to rattle your ears. Okay, deep. God damn it. Jeffrey, we're still missing 2. Get them first. I'm not yelling like that. Hi, sir. Man turns attention back to you with scowl deepening. You're one of the new ones. You're just what we needed. Make it a habit real quick and I'll stand in everyone's fucking way, will you? Sorry, sir. I'll be more careful in the future. Man snorts, unconvinced. He pulls out a large leather book and starts looking through its pages until he finds what he's looking for. It'll be officer from now on. Arthur Hudson, what's your name? Okay, yeah, we're not in France then. Damn it. Do I type here? I'm going by my persona's name for this, because yeah, why not? I mean, technically Alex is also my persona, but whatever. Hmm. This shit, you weren't joking. Louis signed up in the ride. Get on there and wait at the fore. When the load is done, you will be instructed. God, officer. Oi, wimp. Might as well make yourself useful and bring the rope on board with you. Aye, sir. Oh boy. Why would you have a fucking French flag when the dude's name is Arthur? Whatever. I can't even tell if it's French or not, but I'm pretty sure it's French. It's a French flag. She bent down to grasp the thick coiled rope. You can feel its weight straining your muscles, threatening to throw you off balance with its heft. You use all your strength to lift it up to your shoulders, struggling to maintain your footing as the rope shifts and moves with your every step. Someone's cooking something. Despite your best efforts, you can't help but lean to the side as the heavy load threatens to pull you off balance. Find yourself taking each step cautiously, trying to avoid further mishaps as you make your way up the narrow walkway leading to the ship. The deck of the vessel looms above you, swaying and tilting with the moon of the waves beneath it. Every step feels precarious, so you might fall. You might slip and fall at any moment. You can't shake the feeling you're being watched by the other crew members. You struggle to maintain your balance. They must be waiting for you to make an ass out of yourself again, you're pretty sure. As soon as your feet touch the deck's solid surface, the worries ease. You made it. Ground beneath you no longer feels steady and precarious, and you can walk more confidently as you make your way across the deck to the foremast. As you approach, you see two other figures already waiting there. Other crew members like you, probably. Yeah, I really like this art style. I know it's like placeholder, but it really does give it a sort of vibe. One of them is a wolf, an older looking one, perhaps in his mid 30s, with ragged fur and a weather beaten face. He seems to be flipping a coin in the air, catching it repeatedly, appearing to be lost in his thoughts. Despite his age, he looks like he could handle himself in a fight. Despite his age, he's fucking 30, according to you. Like, I'm pretty sure at 30 you'd have enough fight experience if you were a good enough fighter. Like, Jesus. Can't wonder how he ended up here in this ship as one of the new sailors at his age. Other figure is a long, young lizard who looks even more the part of a new crew member. You guess him to be barely in his 20s, if even that, and he is leaned against the foremast, eyeing the commotion around him. Oh, so basically me, I'm turning 21 this year, so yeah. Yeah, that's about my description right there. Also, I like lizards, they're cool. As you approach, you see his eyes focus on you. Ooh, a little bit of characterization, I like that. Greet them. Aye. You nod at the two. Aye. Oh, hello. You as well. Name's Louis. Wolf nods once and keeps quiet, perhaps not the most chatty one. New landsman here. It's Julian. Great to get to work with you. Pleasure's all mine. Can't wait to spend the day scrubbing this thing with the two of you. Only Julian appears to find your icebreaker funny and chuckles in response, his expression looking rather adorable with the curved reptilian muzzle. Okay, so we're already getting the stereotypes for these out of the way. We have the gruff tsundere type, and we have the open, um, happy dude. I don't like that. I don't like how they're cliche. Fascinating watching them work, isn't it? Sit down. That needs to be capitalized. And lean against the mast, watching together, the ship being loaded. It is. It's more like a well-oiled machine. All the crew working together, each one knowing exactly what to do. No wonder they just tell us to get out of the way over here. I bet one of these guys has been working on the ship for years. Makes sense they'd handle this smoothly by now. Oh, you heard, but some guy must have gotten in their way. Could hear it up here. Oh, yeah, I did. You were thankful that it sounds like not everyone saw you and hoped Julian wouldn't dig any deeper about what happened down here. These names don't make any sense, but whatever. It feels a bit strange just sitting here, though. As if to prove the point, a few sailors came up the walkway, each of them carrying a rope similar to the one you had held earlier. They neatly placed the ropes where you had laid yours before, then move on to their next task with hesitation. You watch them as they step over the railing. Descent? Really? Descent? Okay, yeah, you're messing up. Descend down onto the dock and out of your sight again. It does. More like a passenger, I guess. You've been on a ship before, travelled on one. Julian turns his head around to view it. Turns his head around to look at you while he waits for an answer. No, always wanted to, though. Just was tied to this town until now, I guess. Really? Well, you're on for something in that case. Traveling by ship is an entirely different experience what you're used to, but it's not for everyone either. I take it this isn't your first time, then. A few journeys here and there. Dad's in the Navy, so I grew up with him all. With it all, but never anything major. I'm sorry, you would say father is in the Navy in this time period. You wouldn't say dad. Whatever. God, already I'm noticing some inaccuracies with the history here. Navy? No wonder you ended up working on a ship as well. I guess so. Not the first time I heard what I'm meant to. Not the first time I heard that that's what I'm meant to be doing. Let's hope you won't get seasick if it's your first time. Don't expect me to not laugh when you're hurling off the ship, though. There's a playful grin in your direction before returning to watch the crew. Thank you for being so supportive. They'll bring you a bucket. Not enough support for you. Deeper voice of the wolf came from behind as he jumps into the conversation. Looking back over your shoulder, you find him still playing with his coin. Sun reflecting off of it as it was flung into the air. It's very kind of you. Prefer not to find out that I'm easily seasick. I'm sure you'll do fine. What brings you to sign up for it? What brings you two to sign up for this, then? Julian's long reptilian tail dances over the ground as he waits for one of you to answer first. Guess I just needed to see something other than town. Seeing people leave on these ships all my life, it just drew me in. Maybe that's childish of me. Sure, it's not all laughs and sitting in the sun, but I realize I'd hate myself and for not trying it over, working on the farm. Shrug your shoulders, completed your explanation. You look at the harbor area with a bit of a wistful expression, realizing that you'll be leaving all of this security and routine behind. I hope it's the right decision. I have to admit that I'm feeling rather tense. You can always pretend if you find it's not for you. Sure, it just feels like a jump in the unknown. Maybe the nervous is more about being afraid it won't work out as I had hoped. I don't know. No one's even having any trouble, Julia. No nerve, nobody who might miss you. Lizard shakes his head and grabs a leather belt of the bag with his belongings, twirling it idly in his hand. No, I mean, yes, people miss me, and I'll miss seeing the friends I grew up with, but my father has worked on ships my whole life. It's in my blood, which makes it less scary. Yeah, you used father here, but you used dad before. You're kind of, I feel like this person doesn't really understand how people talked back then, but whatever. That was only a matter of time until I'd end up on the same path as he did. Great. More stereotypes, more cliches. Julian let go of the belt loop and stood up, stretching his legs and arms out after having sat here for long enough that one of his knees let out a little crack as he got up. His thick tail gracefully follows the motion every step he takes as he makes his way around the mast and past the wolf. And you? Julian didn't stop as he asked the wolf and continued his way around. Money. Okay, yeah, that's pretty accurate, I would say. Nothing else? No. You could have earned money here in this town too, you know. So, but I apparently don't. It's starting to realize that I should have asked for a bonus for being questioned. We really aren't going to get you to tell us about anything about you, are we? Wolf flings his coin in the air and catches it effortlessly as it comes sailing down again, letting it roll down between his fingers. But your name, will you tell us that? Wolf. You can't be serious. No way you're just named Wolf. Julian leaped past the wooden mast, looked down at the wolf in disbelief. And yet here we are. My parents weren't the creative type. Sure, we didn't just call you Wolf, though. They saw a wolf fall out and was their friend was the first name that came to their heads. Not the creative type. Okay, yeah, I think I did a really good job with this dude's voice because he just screams entitled aristocrat, and yeah, definitely got the voice right for him. Silence settles between you three for a moment before another toss of the coin follows. This time, however, he misses the catch, and it lands straight on the wooden deck with a bright clang. Lucky for Wolf, it didn't jump away, but lands straight into one of the folds of his white shirt, which he was easily able to fish it out. Whatever. Julian leans on their way to get close. Yeah, no, this is the 18th century. No one would say that. No one would say that in a flippant. No, this isn't right. This isn't accurate. How they would talk back then. Julian leans out of the way to get close to you, whispering so that Wolf won't hear him. Weird God, shut the fuck up, dude. God, I don't like you. Mr. Oh, Daddy's spoiled me my entire life, so now I think I know everything. Hello, ladies. You stand up and greet the officer properly. Arthur takes a few seconds to quietly survey his new recruits. Enough sitting around. We're almost ready and we'll be leaving port shortly. You nod and look off the ship into the harbor. Realization is sinking in that this will be the last time you'll see this place for a long while. Or do you bail? You still have the chance. No, you can't just go back. You chose this for a reason and aren't going back now. Turning back to Arthur, you see a couple of sailors closing the heavy wooden loading door after the last barrels have been loaded onto it. The whole deck rattles as it is slammed shut, and the men secure it firmly with the attached metal hinges. You might be new, but I expect the same discipline and dedication from you as I do the others. It's because it's in the military you're so free to play a soldier on doesn't mean that in some situations the life of others depends on your diligent work. All three of you will be directly under my command, and whatever I tell you to do, you will do, without questions, without any hesitation. Understood? Yes, sir. Julian and Wolf nod and repeat a clear yes, sir, alongside you. It was strange seeing Wolf go so readily going along with it, but he didn't have much of a choice if he wants to work here. Why is it strange? He said he's here for money, and the best way to get money is to listen to his fucking boss. So, like, I don't see what's strange about that. Three of you stand in line under the watchful eye of the horse who gives you and the other two a thorough scan from your head to your tail. Whatever he thought of you couldn't tell. His expression didn't change at all. So we're not even getting a description of our character, which means that I can literally imagine my persona in this game. I can literally imagine Louis. Louis Batista III just in this situation, of course. God, man. After a few seconds, he decides he's had enough of his inspection and speaks up again. Very well. Grab your belongings and follow me. Arthur nods at the bag sitting next to you and turns around, walking a little slower at first to give you a chance to catch up. You sling your bag over your shoulder and hurriedly catch up with Julian and Wolf not far behind. You are led towards the aft of the ship while the last remaining cleanup appears to happen around you. One sailor coming up the walk with a leather-bound book in hand, after which the hallway was pulled up into the ship, cutting you off from the harbor for good. After noticing Arthur, the man hurriedly walks up to him, stood straight, and saluted the horse before talking. Everything and everyone is on board. Rajia returned as well. Rajia, that's an interesting name as well, and found what she needed to continue Mr. Blackborough's treatment here on board. Very well, some good news then. Thank you. And the salute follows before the man walks up the stairs to the aft of the ship to talk with some of the people present there. Presumably there are certainly some of the other officers and perhaps even the captain himself. Four of you were following suit shortly after, with Arthur leading the way. His hooves knock heavily on the wooden stairs at every step. The ship's bell was rung, crew appearing, and once more a highly choreographed dance begins to get the ship out of the harbor and out into open sea. Arthur next to you straightens up that little bit more. Holding his head high, he overlooks the crew get into their positions. You could see his chest raising as he took a breath before belling out a loud order. Stand by to set sail, loosen all sails. And in front of you moved into action, climbing up the sails above to loosen the sheets, keeping them tightly in place. On the main, on the fore, let fall. Weathered sails start to drop downward, the fabric spotting stains and streaks of wear where they were subjected to past journeys, and you can even spot a few stitched up holes that have been repaired in the past. They slid until they were caught by, until getting caught by the rigging, and once loose, the crew immediately began making their way back down to the deck end for the next steps. Who the fuck? Okay, this person's new. Samuel. Okay, it doesn't make any fucking sense for this accent to exist yet, but, I'm gonna do it anyway. Right. Realistically, most time you'll spend scrubbing the deck. They're always happy for some new blood we can send to do that busy work. Why should I crawl around here on the ground all day long after all, when I can send you? German Shepherd. Oh, a G-Shep, cute. German Shepherd was leaning against the railing, his arms slipped through some of the ropes that were running up to the sails above, one of his feet being propped against a coil of rope that was fastened to the ship. If you're clever, you'll betray enough for some alcohol before someone sends you to do it. But maybe that's just me. Looks young still, probably about the same age as Julian, though clearly looking more the part of an experienced crew member. With a scar on his head and some tattooed markings in his fur and his left wrist. Around his left. Okay, that doesn't sound good. You know how to look around the deck of the ship, already trying to estimate just how long it would take to clean this thing on your knees. I already knew, just the person who I can make work for me then. Ain't that so, Wolf? You better watch your tongue. Listen to that big bad wolf. Hey, I'm just offering. Wow. I was completely right. This dude's a dickhead. I hate him. Julian really did no one to stop with the wolf, and even after just a few hours, you wouldn't be surprised if Wolf will end up starting a brawl. For now, though, Wolf was keeping his cool and was simply glaring daggers at Julian. You really are an annoyance, kid. You can have a drunken bar fight when we get to a harbor. I wouldn't suggest doing it here. At least nearby you might get lucky and not get identified. But if you really like lashes, then don't let me get in the way of you two. I'm just trying to have some fun is all. You're not worth it. Wolf responds with a subtle snarl to his voice. Good. I prefer not to look. I can't even hold you down for one day. And if you really need to give your hand busy, I can give you plenty to do to keep you busy throughout the day. The sound coming from the after the ship catches Samuel's attention. A German shepherd let out a chuckle as he spots what caused it. You follow his gaze and spot someone leaning over the wooden railing, holding onto the ropes left and right to not fall over. A few seconds pass, and the figure emerged from behind the railing, big round ears becoming visible atop his head for a brief moment before he ended up tossing his body forward again, much to the chagrin of Samuel. Looks like someone's having an even worse time than you, Wolf. Wolf turned around to get a look, his fist firmly steadied against his hips. It takes a second or two for he's able to put the pieces together. No, I don't know. I'd trade that for having chucked the city overboard. You hurt my fragile heart, Wolf. There are other parts of you too if you don't shut up. Okay, I love this dude. God, he's great. Julian lifts his hands defensively. Should we, help him? We would. I don't know. You can never feel a bit bad for him. I mean, Jesus Christ. I hate dogs so much. I hate them. And it would feel a bit bad for him after having feared yourself to be in his position beforehand. He isn't really one of the crew. Must be a passenger. Can't do much. I'll just empty his stomach. Room for dinner afterward. Samuel lays the concerns off. Apparently, I haven't seen his share of people in that position. Oh, I thought he was fucking hanging off the edge of the ship, about to fall in the ocean. Okay, that's a bit safer than what I was assuming. What's it to you, anyway? Just feeling bad for him. Nobody's stopping you from going. There just isn't a lot you can do other than to keep him company. Speaking of dinner, though, the sun is getting rather low. Can't be too long until it's time for dinner, can it? Must be soon. Yes, we can probably get ready for it. Bill should be wrong any moment. Wolf turns away quietly, having heard that you were being dismissed, and leaves you three behind without a word. You aren't quite sure what to make of him. Why sign up here when it looks like you're just having a miserable time? I don't know, to make fucking money? Like he said? Jesus Christ. Not everyone has a fucking dream. Not everyone has that, okay? Fucking Christ. It's not that hard to figure out. Especially in the fucking late 18th century when the class structure was extremely fucking rigid. And fucking poor people had a very hard time in life. So, like, I don't know. God, it's just wow. He stepped down the stairs into the bowels of the ship, his pointed ears slowly disappearing beneath the wooden boards of the deck. Someone's hungry. You just ate your guts. German Shepherd winds up a fist and brings it firmly against Julian's shoulder, who recoiled too late to dodge it. Ow! Stop that! Stop lighten up a bit. Julian glances at Samuel, rubbing the spot. Wow, okay, that's a mistake. Rubbing the sore spot in the shoulder where the impact had been. You can be annoying, though. Not you too. I'm beyond how I'm feeling. I'm feeling the same way. Finding none. Takes his for his size and defeat. Fine. Just keep in mind we'll be stuck on this thing for a while. Everybody's got their ticks, but you don't want to start by antagonizing everyone. Yeah, these fucking journeys back in the day, and they do not like when this is taking place. They could take fucking months, maybe even a year. They were long. All right. Or at least make your ribbon funny. Just a tip. Let's get down here and wait for dinner. Sounds very good. Practically starving. Yeah, you're a spoiled rich boy. We get it. Lizard already looking in the direction of the ship's dinner bell, hoping to hear it ring out sooner rather than later. Don't get too excited, or at least not too used to the meal shortly after leaving the harbor. We'll run out of the good stuff very quickly. I'm aware. It's the reason I'm so excited. Who knows when the next good meal will come? Van Dyle's one mean cook, at least. He'll almost manage to make a hardtack palatable. Ooh, that's a hard task, I would imagine. I think he managed making some salmon for being planned for today. Sounds good. I don't know if it's 10 times some fish. Fish does sound pretty good to you as well. Fuck no, fish is disgusting. Well, your town was a fishing town with the harbor right there. It was still was a rather expensive delicacy, and not exactly something that a farming family like yours could afford very often. Okay, yeah, that's very real. That's realistic to the times right there. Yeah. It does. Can't wait to see what your cook is able to do, but I still want to check on him and see if he's alright. I'll meet you two later. Leave something for me, though. Alright, I'll see you later then. I don't guarantee that, but that'll be your fault. Watches you with them turn around and make their way across the deck until they, just like Wolf before, disappear into the ship's bowels, down the main stairs in the deck. The sound of your claws clacking against the wooden deck announces your presence to their passenger as you make your way up the stairs to the aft of the ship. It turns to face you, and upon closer inspection, you see he's an African wild dog with large round ears, pale brown fur, and a black snout that stands out against the paler fur. Yeah, these things are crazy. They're killing machines. He's dressed in a black suit, fancier than anyone else in the ship. Certainly a passenger. Okay, the art style here is so much better. What the fuck? This looks really like the quality here is insane compared to the other ones we've seen. Canines seem to be over the worst of it, at least, still holding on to the ropes with a straining grip, but he wasn't chucking it over the rail anymore. Just you were clearing the last of this step of the stairs. He speaks up. Careful, my glasses. Don't step on them, please. Oh? You only stop yourself from putting your paw down on the ground and look down to check, finding yourself hovering just a few centimeters to the side of them. Jeez. Cautiously you move your paw silent and subtle in the wood next to it, bending down to pick them up by the bridge in the middle. It was brown and made of gold, fittingly expensive, looking in line with the rest of his dress. I'll hold him. Probably safer that way. Thank you. Saw you were having a bit of a hard time up here and wanted to ask you if everything is alright. The cane eases his grip on the ropes and turns to face you, keeping hold with only one hand for a moment. Now seeing him right in front of you, you notice that he's rather tall, probably around 2 meters, give or take it. Compared to Arthur, he has no bulk to him at all. What the fuck? The metric system, really? I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, the metric system and all that shit. I just don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about the metric system. Hey, boy, what a day. Where am I going? What am I doing here? God, I was trying to figure out how much 2 meters is. Because I'm an American idiot and I don't know anything about the metric system. Oh. Oh, he's 6'6". Yeah, that's fucking tall. That is a tall boy. I mean, I think I'm either 6'3" or 6'4", but I don't really know. That is kind. That is very kind of you. You do look rather pale too. Let me know if you need any other help. Oh, no, I'll be fine. Just seasick, not used to this. Gets to the best of us. Painted R took a moment to look around the deck before giving you a bit of a defeated look. I don't know. Nobody else seems to be hanging over the ship railing while someone else hopefully holds their glasses. I appreciate the thought nonetheless. Two of you remain silent for a couple of seconds, while the Canaan next to you taking the time to steady himself again. Wind of the evening blowing through your fur as you look out to sea. Sky starting to shift towards an orange tint at this late hour, nothing but wispy clouds covering it, being hit by the late sunlight to set them ablaze in brilliant colors. Occasionally the sound of a breaking wave moves by as the ship settles into them, being left behind you as the ship speeds through the water. You're a passenger, right? A friend of mine said he's never seen you. I now a reluctant passenger, yes. I don't exactly look the part of a sailor either, I don't think. Before he can finish his sentence, he tosses himself over the wind barrier again. After the initial glimpse, you decide to give him the privacy of looking the other way. Jeez, why'd you come on this ship? And if you're this seasick, good lord. What a wonderfully idyllic. Oh boy. Oh fuck. I know exactly who this is. I know exactly who this Ralphie 2449 is. Well, yes, my weakness and inability is in enjoying the company of a literal piece of shit abuser. Totally. God, Leo sucks. You just, ugh. What a wonderfully idyllic scene it was. Some seagulls above that were still following the ship out from the shore while he heaved up a storm. At least at this point, the poor guy appeared mostly dry. Twirl his glasses between your fingers, watching your reflection flick through them as they spin. Maybe don't do that. Don't you kind of need those people? Guys need those to see. Another hurl fills the air before he finally lifts himself up again and cleans off his chin. Oh God, nothing even left. Can't my Boris leave me alone by now? Really sounds like he's had enough of it by now. Try looking to the horizon. It's stuff what I've been told. Feared I'd be in your position by now, so I asked around before starting off. See, I should have done that too. I guess I got too excited and didn't expect anything to go wrong. Or if it did, then I just figure it out. Can't make it any worse, I guess. Tries to relax, follow your advice, straightening himself to be less holed up in the ship, instead looking out towards the shore where land was still visible in the distance. Turn around and do the same while giving a sideways glance every now and then to see how he's doing. Better? I think. All that water does make me a bit uneasy nonetheless. Strange sight to leave behind the land. Oh, yes, it is. It very much is. I've been on a boat before that went out so far we couldn't fucking see land anymore. And it was rather recently too. It was like I think it was 2021 that we went to Myrtle Beach, but we did go there, and I would have taken videos and uploaded them if I was able to, but I didn't bring my computer for some reason. I was a dumb bum. But yeah, we went on this deep sea fishing thing, and I just don't like the ocean in general. So I don't know why we did that, but I was like genuinely fucking freaking out the entire time. At least I had a book to keep my mind somewhat off of it, but at the same time, man, it does feel oddly banal and seeing it disappear in the distance. For some, experience it myself. Try to make out exactly where you came from, but having never seen your home's shores from this angle, it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult to place anything you see. You believe you can spot the old church tower in the distance, however, by now it all looks washed together. No, you're a passenger too. What's bringing you along? Painted Dog looks at you curiously. Oh, no, I'm part of the crew. I just started here. New landsman who, well, guess I just wanted to see my hometown disappear like that on the horizon. See something new, you know. I fully understand. There's always a point where one wants to spread their wings, explore new things. What is it that you wanted to fly away from? We own a small farmstead, farm life, just enough to sustain ourselves, and it's just not for me. I see. If your whole life up to this point was spent there, the lure to see other parts of the world and other lives isn't unexpected. Your suggestions help me, I believe. Could I have my glasses back, please? Better make you out with how blurry everything is. You lay the glasses into his outstretched palm. Watch as he puts them on and recognizes us. That would be fucking funny. Watching him as he puts them back on the bridge of his snout and adjusts them until he's happy with how he sat. Thank you. How about you? A range of sceneries. For kind for me, I guess. I'm being brought over by my patron who wants me to work on his estate down south. Something I've been working forward to for a while. Paid to travel the world. Not the worst I've heard about. Not at all, but the voyage is more of a necessity than the goal. He wants me to study the local plant life for his business up here, document anything I come across, and potentially find something that'll make him some money when processed and sold. So he's bringing me down there to allow me to do my work. Kinda made them by the sound of it, being paid for everything and living in a fancy estate. I suppose I couldn't care less about the commercial aspects of it, however, it was an opportunity too good to pass up. When will I get the chance to go to this side of the world again, after all? Probably not anytime soon. Precisely, I'm not made to be a sailor, and paying for the voyage myself is far out of reach. Why not? Why not become a sailor? Nothing against you or your choices, of course. Oh, I'm just not made for it, I don't think. Too physical, too dangerous. I'm just not the adventurous type like that. Shrugs and lets his hand slide down on the rope he was holding. But you're sailing across the world right now. That does sound pretty adventurous to me. Sure, but on here I have a small cabin of my own. When I arrive, I have the estate to live on. It's a pretty cushioned adventure all around. I'm not out there having to be the one to climb up there to set the sails, or else to raise them when a storm comes up, or else to lift the anchor. Only stone in my path so far on my own stomach, that's what I prefer. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a point, indeed. The bright ringing of the ship's bell cut the air, with one of the crew members standing tall next to it to announce for everyone to assemble for dinner. Well, sounds like we best be going. Unfortunately, we aren't eating with the crew, but maybe we'll meet each other again. Thank you for the company, and oh, completely forgot, I'm no Marx. Reaches out with his hand, and you shake it with a firm grip, watching him bob his head in a polite bow and return the gesture yourself. Sure will know, Max. Call me Louie. Watch him make his way down the stairs to the main deck. Still a sense of unsteadiness to his steps, as he slowly sets one foot in front of the other. And certainly, it'd be a certainty to see him again, with there being not much space to hide on this thing. Not much time with the two you have to actually talk. Time will tell. Typically, it isn't looked upon very favorably for the crews and guests to mingle, breaks the discipline, they say. Whatever the case may be, it's as he rounds the corner to enter the ship, you decide it's time to go in yourself. Oh, okay, those are people. Those are people, but, whatever. This video is 15 minutes long. Wow, I didn't realize there'd be this much to this. Okay. The open airiness of the ship's deck soon fades into the more oppressive dark in the interior of the ship. Barely any openings outside world. The cargo opening and the stairs leading down here provide most of the light. You can see the dust flicker in the rays of sunlight breaking in from the outside. Watching your head to avoid smashing it straight into one of the sturdy wood beams that run overhead, you duck past several of them to get to the common area. The stench of dinner already thickly saturating the air as the other crew members ate. With space in the ship being rather sparse, the common area was simply the area to be sleeping in later, with all the hammocks stored away for the day. The wooden chests along some benches and tables provide people space to sit down and eat, play cards, etc. On one side, tucked away in the corner on his own, you spot Wolf, who has found himself a bit of a quiet spot away from the rest. More amidst the others, you can spot Samuel and Julian, who have picked themselves a spot more after getting their share. Towards the end of the room, which leads to the officers' cabins, you spot Arthur in conversation with a cheetah you don't think you've seen yet. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit with Wolf. I like him the best. Who the fuck? Okay, yeah, you like to burst give him food. Before you go over to Wolf, you grab your portion of today's dinner. A plate of rather generous with a rather generous slice of salmon by the looks of it, with some sauce and bread to go along. Pretty good looking. Something of a last hurrah when leaving a port before the quality of food will steadily start to degrade as the days go by. Is he zooming on a cat? I think he's a cat. It looks absolutely mouth-wateringly delicious, and Bendile, the cook, even makes sure to garnish it for every crew member, so it really looks the part too. Thank you so much, Bandile. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. Looks amazing. Same as I'm talking of your cooking, I couldn't wait. Oh, well, thank you very much. Did he know? Well, I think you just ensured Samuel get a little extra care putting us to breakfast tomorrow. Here. Oh, he's a hare. Okay. Hare smiles proudly. One of the new pups then, eh? Not recognizing your face. He's sideways as he scans your face a bit more thoroughly, racking his brain to ensure he doesn't just forget about you. Yes, Louis, new and ready for anything, or whatever I'm say on my first day. Wonderful, Louis. The enthusiasm never hurts, I can tell you that much. He almost bounced with that joyous springiness that many hares appear to radiate. Yeah, I'll hold you to account if it changes in a week or two. Don't you get all sour on me, understood? I appreciate it. What do you have for me today? It looks like salmon and... Oh yes, freshest catch in the town. Freshest catch in the town from today. Handpicked by yours truly earlier today from that shop in the, bright yellow house right down the street from the harbor. Pauses, massaging his forehead and struggling to remember the details. Lovely old lady running her son and grandson around running their ship. Oh, from Gundred store? She's a trip. Gundred, right. He's a treasure. I remember as a kid, years ago, I'd go to my mother on occasion. She always made sure to give me a little bite of their smoked eel for free. Couldn't ever afford it, but she always pushed a little something into my paws. Her expression starts to glow as you let your memories trip back to those times. She appeared very kind, not a surprise at all. Yet I didn't get any small bite for free. probably set the bar too high for how cute one has to be for that. Good lord. Van Dyke crosses his arms in front of his chest to play the part of a grumpy kid. I did. What? Grumpy really played breaks as you get caught off guard, giving you a cheeky wink and leaving you flustered. Not exactly what you expected here on your first day, but you don't exactly mind it either. 18th century, late 18th century. I mean, yeah, they did. Obviously, gay people existed then, but like, they had to be fucking like clever about not just blurting stuff like that out. Fish, though. And I'll change the topic and grab one of the plates, placing one of the slices of salmon on it. The sizzling in the skillet intensifies briefly as he pushes it into the fish to take it out. A few stalks of asparagus are placed next to it, then he pours a lightly cream-colored sauce over it, thick enough to only start leaking once the salmon warmed it up. What's the sauce? Oh, it's lemon and dill sauce, nice and creamy, and a favorite of the crew together with the salmon when you leave port. Sure you'll love it. Excuse me, Jesus. He smiles as he places a decorative slice of lemon onto the fish and rounds it all off with a sprinkling of fresh herbs and the generously sized piece of bread. Oh my god. I fucking hate this shit. Oh, I never said anything to the contrary. It looks good enough that I want to sit myself down in it. Take the plate when he hands it over to you, and a flick of your tongue zips over your lips. Enjoy, Louie. For now, you best get going. Still got some people waiting for you, but it's been a pleasure. Tell me how it was next time. Look over your shoulder and see someone waiting just next to you. You pick up your step to clear the space to give them a chance to get their dinner. Will do, thanks, Menta. You walk away, you look back once more and see the hair-bearing another server of the waiting behind you. Hair's upbeat demeanor, clearly not being a one-off. Must enjoy what he's doing, and you can't wait to find out what other meals he'll be able to throw together. With your meal in hand, you make your way over to Wolf in the corner, who, upon spotting you, gives you a brief glance in your direction before lowering his head again as he continued eating. Slurp some of the sauce with the bread before taking a bite of it. Shoddy head clearly didn't appear that most comfortable, having simply sat himself on the ground, but it feels pretty fitting for Wolf. Now, for the light from the lamps got dimmer and dimmer as you drop yourself down right next to the canine on the ground. There are other spaces available, you know. Canine nods some reluctance but doesn't protest your presence any further. Pry away a piece of the salmon with your fork, give it a taste. Just as you hoped, it was fantastic. The fish was cooked to perfection, its smooth texture and delicate flavor making a true delicacy. But it was the sauce that truly did take the dish to the next level. The sauce was rich and creamy, with just the right amount of tang that complemented the flavors of the fish and the lemons of the herbs from the greens scattered across. Oh, it was heaven. Wolf prepared to mind you enough to move away the looks of it, so following Wolf's unspoken wish, you keep quiet and take another bite of the fish. He did the same. Quiet between the two of you is a very welcome respite from the hectic day you had today, and the chatter and commotion of the room started to feel increasingly distant as the seconds passed by. Perfect, let yourself relax a little bit more thoroughly. Watching the others in the flicker of the orange light, you really noticed for the first time just how varied the people on this ship were, but perhaps it wasn't that surprising given the corners of the planet it stopped at. Foxes, antelope, a rhino, bears, a couple of birds, and not to mention all the canine and feline variants. Variety much beyond what you found in your own hometown, a mostly regional species, or maybe it just appeared to you like that because of how unusual some of them were to you. Oh god, the bread is delicious too, still warm and fresh with a wonderfully crunchy outside that gives way to a fluffy soft middle. Dipped in the sauce becomes even better. Oh, Bandai, you god among us mere mortals. Jesus Christ, it's just food. It isn't even such an intricate dish, however, it is simply done to perfection. Notice your tail swaying across the rough wooden ground, a touch too excitedly, and rein it back in. Man, this really tastes great. One of the best fish I ever had. I saw Wolf's ear twitch ever so subtly as you break the silence, his head turning by only a degree or two before he focuses back on his plate, which at this point was all but empty. Noticing the state of his plate, you do feel a bit guilty, gushing about your meal, which he is almost done. For a second or two, he nods and swallows down what he was chewing on. Really is good. Couldn't see it, but you would bet on Wolf saying that with a smile. And you really are a god. Even imagine to brighten Wolf's day. Talk with him a little. Seems like a sweet guy. Talk with who? She quickly after just having take another bite so that you don't have to swallow the full mouth. Bandile, the cook. Long ears, bit bouncy. Yes, yes, I know what a cook is. Always off her over explaining with his right hand. Don't pray to God nearly enough for him to start having plates of food appear out of the other for me. Slice one of the asparagus in half and pick it up with your hands, letting it dangle over your muzzle and dropping it in. Probably for the best. Just imagine people behind and around you. Wolf snorts under his breath. Do without that. I am curious why you joined this crew, though, Wolf. Why? What's it to you? I already told you it's the work for me. Over his shoulder briefly, his eyes catching the glimmer of the lamps in nearby tables. Not everyone's a gleamy-eyed adventurer, kid. How is that so difficult to understand? Trying to yourself as he already turned away from you once more. Just doesn't feel like the obvious choice. Work is round plenty. You don't need to add the potential danger of a ship going across the oceans if all you need is work. Almost half a minute passes in sound between the two of you. Loud clang of a mug dropping to the floor fills the room, along with most of the crew bursting out in cheering and laughter. Wolf keeps his head low, balancing the coin he had played with before on the deck against the ground, giving it a twirl with his thumb every now and then. Maybe I just like the thrill. Leaned back against the wood pillar behind him, head laid back into his neck with the thick fluff of his throat fanning out under his jaws. Maybe I'd have to kill you if I told you. So the smirk process doesn't quite make it clear if he means it or not. Well, confined on a ship, the perfect place for it. What is so confident about that? Nobody will suspect foul play with a greenhorn going overboard on their first morning watch. It's dark, slippery, very easy for something unfortunate to happen. He appears to do spend a little too much time thinking about this for your liking. I won't ask then. Smirk on his face widens into a grin that shows some of his teeth blitzing through. Good. Starting to get it at last. Quiet returns with you and you focus on your meal again. Bright metallic scrape of your fork reaches your ears as you separate another piece of the salmon, followed by the balancing act of bringing it up to your muzzle quickly enough to not drip any sauce onto yourself. Just as you got used to being in the moment, you spot someone emerging from the crowded pupil at the center. The familiar set of ears are bobbing your way with a red bandana around them. Samuel. With his hands on his belt, he makes his way over to the two of you. Yo. To crane your neck back to look up at the German Shepherd. It was being silhouetted against the lamps of the common area of the deck to the point where you were barely able to make out any features of him. Wolf looks up at him just the same, fully grabbing the coin he was playing with. Yes. You two found a cozy spot over here. Not too dark to eat. Just about works. Quiet as welcome after today, but been an exciting, been a bit of an, exciting day. I get it. Man can be tough if you have sometimes you have one of those periods where you simply can't stand seeing someone. Just hold up in this thing, unable to avoid them. Not at this point, thankfully. It's getting pretty close. And he'll grab his arms around his chest. I'm sure he'll take the hit at some point. Possibly. Anyway, I didn't want to bug you too long. Cause I didn't want you both know that we're doing what we got. We got the morning watch tomorrow. Morning watch? Yeah, it's not the bad usually. Just waking up can be tough. So I want to let you know not to make it too long. And even not today, as I'd rather not have to catch a slack tomorrow. I don't exactly get enough early either. Gotcha. I'll keep it in mind. Perfect. That's all I wanted. Enjoy the peace and quiet. As he came, as he came up, he leaves the way again, back to the table he was sitting at with Julian and a couple others. They appear to have a much more animated evening than you over here, but you don't mind. Morning watch. Probably gonna be quieter. So you actually prefer it this way? I don't mind it at least. Just good enough for me. Looks the coin in the air and this time doesn't manage to catch it. Instead, it plunges off the wood planks below and rolls straight to your paws, bumping against them and tipping over. Thanks to the coin shone brightly as it reflects the light of the lamps beyond, too far away for it to simply grab it as you reach for it. Well, it looks like any old regular coin at first glance. You could quickly tell that something feels off when you brush over with your fingers. Inspecting it closely, it looks like any coin you've seen. The darkness makes it hard to see properly. What is this coin? Looking expectantly since he lost the coin and was waiting for you to hand it back. It's a coin. What do you mean? Close to your eye together. Look at the low light that's strumming out much beyond the hole that was punched through it on one edge. Never seen one like it. Not from this region, is it? No, it's not. A friend of mine gave it to me as a gift. Oh, that is kind of them. Was it a gift for this voyage? Something to remember your friends by while you're away? He shakes his over to you and reaching for the coin, but you dodge as you rasp. Just want to take a better look at it. We'll get back to you in a second. Canine huffs Otto, doesn't have to grab it again. He gave it to me a few years ago. We haven't seen each other in a while. Think it'll be a while still before we do. That difficult to see one another again? Sorry to hear. Yeah. Slowly managed to put the shapes in the coin together. A head on one side of it and a crest on the other. A that carried several fleur-de-lis. I don't know what you're trying to say there. It's from France, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. So is he French? Is this friend even a he or a lady waiting for your return? With groans as you continue your questions game and holds out his paw for the coin, attempt to put a stop to it. The flick of his fingers emphasizes the man, and you gave in, putting it into his palm. He is not. When you're done with your questions, then I did prefer you when you were quiet. Only disappeared in the pocket of his breeches. Not really. I understand. It's so bad I'm interested in to get to know the people we're working with. It isn't. See? Look, kid, it's just a job to me. That's all there is to it. You can come here to make friends or sit around a lantern sharing stories. I didn't either, but it makes the time on here more enjoyable rather than just going through the motions. However, I, of course, can't force you to anything, so if you just want to do the job, then you just do the job. There's something on one arm, taking his empty plate with him. I'll see you on the morning watch. He simply turns away, leaving you sitting there to watch him walk off to the cook to rid himself of the plate. Just work it is, I guess. Got a time to clear up your dinner as well, as you take a bite of the bread. Soon enough it was all gone, and you two were on your way to getting some rest. Having did a good job catching the gentle sway of the ship as it moves through the night. After a while the comfort of sleep envelops you. Thank you for playing. Okay, I'm gonna save there. Thank you for playing. Naturally, it's the very first version and is pretty sparse, but I hope you enjoyed it enough to keep an eye on this game. Want to support? There's a Patreon apparently. Thank you to those who already do. They didn't specifically suffer this project. You know, this it's on the way. Well, that's over. That was longer than I was expecting it to be, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so how do I explain? For a point 0.1 build, the writing is extremely well polished. The art is actually like the sprite art as it is right now. I really like sort of unfinished, scratchy aesthetic to it. It's cool. I know they're just placeholders, but still, they're cool looking. Um, I like how each character is fleshed out, somewhat, I guess. They all personalities that are separate from each other, and that's really important. Uh, my only complaints here are that it isn't very historically accurate with the dialogue, and that a lot of the characters seem to be very clear FVN stereotypes. I find it so funny that. But yeah, overall, I had a fun time with this. I guess you could say I'll upload it soon enough. I don't know. I'll do it. Bye now.